All right, guys. So, first off, apologies for the lack of content. Even after I got home from being up with my daughter for the week, for some reason, springtime, April, May, maybe it's the change of the weather and stuff, flares my depression up. So, sometimes just not feeling like getting up in front of a camera. But today I do, and Evil Dead Rise has come and has risen. Now, this is one of the times that I'm very thankful that I don't watch trailers because I've not watched a single review on this. I haven't read a single review, but I've spoken to like a friend or two. That's basically it. So I don't even know what the consensus is, despite from hearing from a friend that it's basically all favorable. So a little background with me on the franchise. I first saw The Evil Dead when I was had to be before 10 years old, like 8 or 9 or so. And Evil Dead 2, I didn't see for a decent amount of years after that for some reason. But Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 are in my top 20 horror films all time. Evil Dead 2 is in my top 5, if not right outside of it. Army of Darkness, I adore that movie. The TV series, Ash vs. Evil Dead, is excellent. What a great series that was, and what a fucking shame that that got canceled. And then we got the remake. Well, before the series, but we had the remake by Fede Alvarez. Killed it. So much great gore effects, so much blood. So it felt Evil Dead awesome. One of the best remakes for me from the 2000s onward. Like definitely one of the best horror remakes from the 2000s going forward. So I had as little expectations of this movie as possible, like I do with most movies, because like I said, I don't read up on things. I had no idea anything to do with this movie, except for it's set in a high-rise building, and it was produced, executive producers Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. That's it. So going into this, I had no idea what to expect. I fucking loved this movie. I fucking loved it. Now, I do have gripes with it, 100%. But I always say that Evil Dead is like one of, if not the only series that is still has not let me down. Every single entry is perfect. The first movie, the Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, the TV series, and Evil Dead remake. Can I call this movie perfect? No. But it still remains intact, the series for me, as not letting me down yet. Now, the only gripes, I'll start with the gripes. The only gripes that I had with this movie, and I might just do a little bit of spoilers a little later, so I'll just say when I'm going to go into spoilers. But the two biggest gripes for me with this movie was some of the Deadite voicing, like the voices, just didn't sound good. And some of the lines, like, I'll save that for like the spoiler stuff, but just the delivery on some of the lines and that the way that they sounded kind of threw me off a little bit. Like, made me, it doesn't sound the greatest. But that's not a big knock at all at the movie. And the only other thing really was, I mean, let's talk gore for a sec with Evil Dead. It's gory as shit. It's known for just the over the top goriness and just so zany Raimi in the way that he does all his movies, just in excess. Everything is balls to the wall over the top. I feel like it could have gone farther, this movie, when it comes to the gore and it comes to the blood. I mean, there's definitely a lot of blood in this movie. I definitely don't think they used as much fake blood as they did in the 2013 remake. I'd be very surprised to find out that they used more. I don't think so. I mean, just the whole ending of the remake from 2013 with it raining blood and everything has to be so much right there. So I'm sure this movie didn't use as much. But It is bloody, like, and there are some great effects and stuff. I'm not saying that at all. I just feel like they could have went a little further with that. And the only other really gripe I have is that this could have been set anywhere. It could have been set in a cabin, just like all the other movies. They didn't really use the setting at all of the high rise. Like, I get it, Evil Dead Rise is high rise, and also they rise fun, but like I was thinking something like Demons 2 or Poltergeist 3. Like when I first heard news on this that it was going to be set in a high-rise building, that the Demons 2 immediately was the first thing I thought of. And then Poltergeist 3 and like other places, other movies that you don't see too often that are in high-rise settings. Those movies utilize the high-rise setting a little more. This is, I don't want to say nothing, but for the most part, this could have just been in a cabin. So the whole setting could have been so much cooler, like for me, but it is what it is. So we got what we got. So that's pretty much it, like on the negatives. So let's talk the positives. All right, first of all, just like the Fede Alvarez remake, this movie looks fucking brilliant. It looks so good. The cinematography is amazing. The fucking editing is amazing. The sound design is amazing. So much, all the aspects that go into making film on the technical side are fantastic in this movie. Like when it looks, it has such a great atmosphere too, man. Like it's really claustrophobic and it's just really dark. And they still manage to squeeze in a little bit of lightheartedness here and there, and I'm glad they didn't go too overboard with it. If you've seen it, you know what I mean, maybe. But like, this is a lot more in vain with the remake from 2013 than the original three movies and the TV show, like by far. And there was a moment or two that I thought, ooh, are they really gonna go like that, like zonky right now? Like, if that's even a word, like too over the top, like comedic almost, like Evil Dead 2 right now, and it's gonna be very jarring with the tone. And thankfully, they didn't go far with it. It was just a nice little 2 second thing. I said, all right, good. We also amazing sequence that we get to hear a reference to Evil Dead 2, which was just fantastic to hear. Um, what's her name? Alyssa, I want to say, is the actress who plays Ellie. Alyssa Sutherland. If I got that wrong, my bad. But fantastic, awesome job. All the acting by everybody was really, really good. I love the dynamic between Beth and Ellie, the sister dynamic. Awesome. I like the whole mother themes throughout the movie because for I'll get to that in spoilers. And I cared about these characters. Like I cared about this family. I cared about the kids, which is where another issue was avoided for me, which I'll also talk about in a minute. But I fucking loved it. Like despite those few little gripes at the beginning, awesome. Like still a great Evil Dead movie, a great way that they can tie this into the last one or all of them. Like Evil Dead, there's the continuity is abysmal, and it's like one of the only franchises that I don't care about the continuity. Because like Saw, that's why I fucking love Saw. It's not about Saw, forget it. Awesome that they can bring this story in this film around to the remake or anywhere they want, basically from here. And I know that I've been hearing now that they're planning on possibly doing more installments more frequently. Like this, and I can't believe, man, it's 10 years since the remake. I remember seeing in theaters. That's so long ago. But yeah, the remake, fantastic. And now we get Evil Dead Rise. So if you haven't seen it, absolutely go. Like 100%. If you're an Evil Dead fan, you shouldn't even you should have been there. You should see it already. It should be already in your mind. I've seen it twice now, so I was able to really think on my thoughts on it. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of spoilers, not much, but yeah, if anyone hasn't seen it, absolutely go check it out for sure. Evil Dead Rise. All right, so let's talk spoilers a little bit. So I love the whole opening. The whole opening with the girl and her cousin that's sick there, and well, sick they think, and she's getting taken over by the Deadite. And when he rips her ponytail, rips her scalp right off, then comes outside, and then she takes the model airplane or whatever and starts like fucking her jaw up and falls into the lake. Then when she comes floating out of the lake and the Evil Dead Rise, what a great fucking opening card. What a great title card. I loved that. Like, I was so happy when I saw that. I said, all right, good. Now, like I said, I don't watch trailers, so I had no idea what to expect. So when I saw that it was a family with 3 younger kids, I started to worry. Like, early on. And for a good, like, 40 minutes or so. Like, thinking, like, all right, yeah, they introduced the neighbor, you know, then the 2 other kids and stuff that are watching Freddy all night long, not the bad ones. There are no bad ones. You know, yeah, there are fucking bad ones. 4 through 6. Those are your bad ones. And the fucking abysmal remake. Let's throw that one in there too. Terrible. But I digress. So we see these other characters that are introduced, and then I thought to myself, all right, so maybe they'll become Deadites and stuff, and we'll still have a fucking gore fest free for all, like you would hope in an Evil Dead, because I'm like, we have, how old do those kids look? Danny and Bridget, I think her name was 17. I know he mentions maybe you'll get your permit or license, so he's got to be 17, 16, 17. He don't look more than that. So let's say 18, just to be generous. She's younger than him by maybe a year or two, so 16, 17. And then Cassie, the young girl, seems like she's 12, 11, 12, maybe, something like that. Which, love all those characters, especially Cassie. What a cute girl, man. And she really saves the day in some part. When she takes the fucking, what the hell did she call her? Stephanie? Because it's a staff and Stephanie. That's adorable, man. I audibly chuckled when I first heard that. As she sticks it through Bridget's mouth and it goes out the back. The effects look fucking great in this. There's some CGI for sure. I didn't really care, or I didn't notice it. Which, I mean, I'm pretty good with catching practical effects, but I know there was CGI used to touch stuff up, for sure. But the way they blended the CGI use over the practical effects, fantastic job. Because, like I said, I pretty much couldn't really pick out, like, out of every, like, effect that was done in the movie. I'm like, no, that looks good. I was really looking at the effects to see if it was over CGI'd or anything like that. Loved it. I just feel like we could have got more gore here. And that was a big thing I was worried about leading up to like the 45-minute mark, when it's just Ellie that's a Deadite. Then when we see Bridget with the tattoo gun scene, and she tattoos herself and then goes right near her eye, and then she cuts her right when she went near her eye, and then it didn't happen. I was like, yeah, see, like these 3 kids now, what are we doing here? Thankfully, we get the scene where she's in the corner in the kitchen eating glass. Fucking great. Loved that. And the effect with the glass coming down and it sticking out of her throat, awesome. That looks sick. And that's practical, I can tell right there. Awesome, awesome effect. And just that whole scene. And then tell me if I'm crazy, I absolutely heard Bruce Campbell in the, what scene is it? When he's listening to the vinyl record for the first time. And with the Book of the Dead and all that shit, I swear I heard Bruce Campbell there, and I swear I heard the first 3 notes of Ash vs. Evil Dead, but like shortened to be like a jump scare, like the dinner, but it was like like faster and shit. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, but I definitely heard Bruce Campbell, and I know I heard the intro to Ash vs. Evil Dead. I forgot where that part was, but I wouldn't be surprised, like having a little Easter egg like that. But I know I heard both of those. But yeah, like could it have been gorier? Yeah, like 100%. Like, is it fine for what it is? Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm completely content with it, despite wishing that it can go further. I mean, it's Evil Dead. I mean, you should have limbs flying all over the place. Like, for me, this is definitely my least favorite Evil Dead movie. I will say that. So if that sways anybody who's still watching this, despite me saying I'm going into spoilers, hasn't seen it yet, I'll say that. It's my least favorite Evil Dead film. Like, it's nowhere near as great as the remake from Fede Alvarez. But Lee Cronin did a great job here. Like, a very, very fucking damn good job. And I think I saw his movie, what was it, The Hole in the Ground, for a few years back. I'm pretty sure I saw it, but I don't remember it at all. Maybe I'll go back and watch that. But I'm trying to think anything else I wanted to mention with that. So yeah, once Bridget became a Deadite, I was like, all right, I'm a little more on board here. Like, all right, good. And then once Danny became, I was like, oh shit, all right, good. And like, so no one's safe except Cassie. Everyone knew Cassie's living through this, and Beth, I think, is a badass final girl. Like for the Evil Dead series, like you can imagine where they can take this. They can have Beth, Mia, and Bruce Campbell and Ash if he wants to come back and do it. But that would be amazing. I'd pay to see that movie. Like, absolutely. To see Mia, Beth, and Ash all together on screen, sign me up right now. But, yeah, man, just great effects. Like, blurring the line that the CGI wasn't even an issue. Like, hardly could point it out at times. Some great gags, gore gags and stuff. The performance by Sutherland is just absolutely terrifying as a Deadite. Like, terrifying. She is so scary. Like what she could do with her face, kind of like with Jane Levy from who plays Mia in the remake from 2013. She has like the real bugged out eyes, so like it works as a Deadite. Like she has like this long face that like it's fucking creepy, man. And like I said, some of the dialogue, like the whole thing that Bridget says with I want to get rid of the creepy crawlies inside my tummy. Like, just it sounds not right. Like, it doesn't sound like Evil Dead. Like, it sounds weird. But I'm sure maybe I'll come around to it because I remember thinking that for a few lines in the remake. That I came around to that. So I'm sure I'll get over that. But yeah, no real complaints. Like the creature at the end, with when they all like, it's kind of like an Evil Dead version of the shunting scene. I always forget that word, shunting. I'm pretty sure, right? With the orgy at the end of Brian Yuzna's Society. Like with, it's kind of like that. They're all sticking themselves into Ellie, their mom, and then they just become one creature. Dude, that looks awesome. Everything with that was awesome. The chainsaw kill at the end, awesome. But I just feel like on a lesser scale than the remake from 2013. Like the raining, literally raining blood, and the demon like the demon like Deadite Mia. That's fucking hard to say. The Deadite like, fuck you, I'm not doing it. Mia being chased by the demon version of her, then just the chainsaw killing that is so much better than this one. I'm sorry, but like so much better in that than the one we get here. But it is cool, and I like how the whole, like I said, the dynamic between Ellie and Beth. And I like the whole thing with the groupie, the gag that keeps recurring about her being a groupie that her sister always refers to her as the groupie, her sister the groupie, to the neighbor even, and like the neighbor, she shoots the neighbor a look. What I was saying now earlier with hoping that it didn't go too far, because this is a very bleak tone, just like 2013. This isn't like Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness. So when I saw the scene of her biting out the neighbor's eye, and then choking on it and then spitting it into the other kid, the Freddy, all of them are awesome, who deserve to die just for that statement guy, and he swallowed it like an Evil Dead 2 style. I was like, like, don't go too overboard, because then the tone is just going to shift completely. It's going to feel very jarring. And thankfully, that was it. And they just finished with that. And I like how they also kept with the way that the Deadites like sit up out of like or like grab things. Like when she grabbed the cheese grater and her hand just goes up and grabs it like this. Then she just, and that was cool too, seeing that with the cheese grater on the back of her leg. Crazy kill. Crazy effect too. Like, not really effect wise, but it's effective at being fucking creepy. Because, man, can you imagine getting your legs, like, grated by a cheese grater? That sucks. Then, let's see. Cassie, like I said, adorable kid, and you knew nothing was happening to her. Even though I kind of was hoping that, like, I mean, come on. How many people were watching this hoping that you get to see this girl in Deadite? I was. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I was hoping kind of the whole movie that the kids were going to become Deadites, and I got 2/3 of the way. But, like, that's not fair. Just putting kids in the movie alone, that's entrapment. That's making, all of a sudden, then I feel like a dick because I'm hoping these kids get possessed and possibly killed. That's not fucking fair. But I digress again. But there was one other thing I wanted to mention. The gore, the acting, all good. Yeah, like I said, the cinematography, the sound design, the editing, the directing, fucking unreal. Looks beautiful. I know I'm gonna forget. Oh, we had a nice little Shining homage with when the elevator just fills up with blood all the way. Great scene too, and of course, with like Sam Raimi, bunch of Dutch angles and odd angles, a little bit of fishbowl angles, kind of like it kind of feels like you're right up against their face and they're viewing like it's used a lot to like portray like insanity or like craziness and stuff like that. Really good usage here. So I'm guessing also that he kind of set it up at the end as he can definitely go places from here with another installment for sure. Because he had basically, once we see the beginning wrap around at the end, we know that this girl was possessed by a deadite and basically spread it from the high rise to where they're chilling out, like by the cabin, by the lake. So we can have a whole big scale deadite infestation. Like, that would definitely be something interesting to see. Yeah, so that's pretty much it that I can think of. So let's recap. There's negatives, the only negatives, some of the Deadite voices and effects on the voices and stuff, and some weird lines. Oh, like, free from all you titty sucking little parasites. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't sound Evil Dead. It's weird. And, what was the other negative I had? See, not many. When I can't even really think again off the top of my head, other than they didn't utilize the high rise, really. That's it. Like, everything else in this movie was excellent. Like, I was so pleasantly surprised. Oh, and that's right. And the amazing homage we get to Evil Dead 2 when we have all of the Deadites chanting Dead by Dawn, Dead by Dawn. Fucking great, man. So good. I was so happy to hear that. And there's a few homages placed in here and there and there, and they do it nice. Like, it's not like it's right shoved in your face. I mean, that is obvious of an homage, but there's some little things here and there throughout the movie too. And I'm sure on another rewatch I will pick more out. But I definitely heard Bruce Campbell and the Ash vs. Evil Dead theme, like the first three notes. Definitely heard those things. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys like the Evil Dead Rise, Evil Dead 2. Yeah, if you like Evil Dead 2 also, you can comment. But comment. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if this hit the marks that you were hoping it did, if it met your expectations, if you saw the trailer a bunch and you were excited. Did it take anything away from it, your experience? Did you still love the hell out of this movie? Is this your favorite in the franchise? Is it your least favorite? Anything. Leave some Evil Dead stuff in the comments. I I will most likely have Wes Craven's New Nightmare, a spoiler discussion up on that later tonight. If not, it'll be a different movie, and Wes Craven will be tomorrow. But not sure yet. I haven't decided on a movie. But all right, guys, wherever you're from, hope you're having a great night or afternoon or morning, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.